Hello, friends. It is so great to be with you today. Brent Peterson with NNU, and we're continuing our Physically Distant and Relationally Strong series with my great friend, J.R. Forasteros, who is in the Catalyst Church, which is in the Dallas metro area. I love JR, who is a great thinker. He's kind of prophetic and edgy and has one of the best beards that I know. And of course, he likes all nerdy things like Star Wars, all kind of nerd movies. But tomorrow our topic is really important. How are we going to think about that both a congregation and a pastor and a church live outside its own bubble? And JR, I think this is a unique time for us in the church. Obviously, lots of challenges, but I think it's a great time to reimagine what it means to be the people of God, out engaged in our world. What tomorrow's going to look like?
Yeah, first, thanks for having me. I'm so excited about tomorrow and honestly for the conversation as much as what I'm presenting. But I want to talk about two pieces of what it looks like for pastors specifically to be pastors outside of the church. I think early in my pastoral career, I got trapped like many of us do inside of the church bubble. And I didn't have any friends who were not Christians. I didn't know anyone real. I didn't have any real significant relationships with people who were not already believers. And so my ability to share Jesus's good news was pretty limited to people who had already heard Jesus's good news. And so my wife and I have made some intentional decisions and strides in our personal lives and in our lives as churches to lead our congregations to celebrate having a pastor who is doing a lot of the pastoral work outside of the life of the congregation, which isn't easy. I mean, I think that's a big hurdle for a lot of us that we want to be more externally focused, but the demands of the congregation we already have are such that it's difficult for us to find any margin to do that. So I want to talk about that in the first place. Like, how do we lead our churches to value this? And then I also want to talk about, well, what do we do? Let's say we have that margin, we've created that margin. How do we go about creating significant relationship with non-Christian people such that they become our friends? Because you can't just like pull up a directory of people who don't love Jesus and start calling them, right? That sort of thing doesn't exist. So I want to talk about some really organic ways that we can live into the world around us such that we get to embody the good news about Jesus and pastor people who are not a part of our congregation yet.
JR, it's going to be so good. I have also my stories as well. I was living in Chicago pastoring, had to pay for my life. So I was working at UPS in the early morning shift and just met a lot of folks. It was really who just really did not love themselves, thought the world and God hated them. And so all the ways in which it's not a copy and paste methodology, but a philosophical notion that says, how can we be intentional about loving folks who aren't yet experiencing the love of God in their life? And so, as you've mentioned, it's so important for a pastor to have a mindset and for a congregation to have a mindset. And then how do you do that thoughtfully and intentionally, not any awkward, manipulative way? So, friends, tomorrow, it will be August the 4th at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. I invite you all to join us. It will be a fun, funny, thoughtful, prophetic conversation that JR will lead us in. I invite you to join us. You can click on the link below. Of course, if you can't join us live, we'll record this so you can watch it later. But thanks, JR. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.
Can't wait to be with everyone.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks so much.